Could the Raiders be eyeing a big trade for some young offensive weapons? Quinn Ewers to visit with the Las Vegas Raiders, and the New England Patriots acting like a bunch of hoes. Yo, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Simone Raider, back at it again with yet another video. If this is the very first time you guys are coming across this channel and you love daily Raider content, then hit that subscribe button, hit that notification icon button to notify you guys when I upload more videos just like this. We are on the verge of 50,000 subscribers on the channel, so as always, if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But first things first, some big news came out this morning. According to Tom Pelissero, he tweeted out that the Patriots have officially matched the Raiders offer sheet to linebacker Christian Ellis. Per sources, he is staying in New England. Now, I thought for a fact when the Raiders eventually signed him and brought him over here to Las Vegas that the Patriots didn't match him and we were going to keep him on the team, but it seems like the Patriots came swooping in right before the deadline and matched that offer, bringing him back to New England like a bunch of hoes. Did you guys really have to do that? Y'all couldn't just let us have one defender? You guys damn near took all the defenders that we had last year. They took Robert Spillane, they took Caleb Von Chason, and they took Marcus Seves, and we can't even get Christian Ellis, and he's a guy that I wasn't really high on when we signed him or eventually signed him, but with a lot of people talking about him, you know, the hype around Raider Nation, Ellis seemed to be a guy that a lot of people were looking forward to seeing playing on this defense, and especially because we need a lot of linebacker depth, he was a guy that was definitely going to help out in that regard. But it looks like we'll never get to see him in the silver and black, and it is what it is. We just got to move forward what we have on the team right now and just hope that he doesn't do good over there in New England. Who cares? We'll move on. We'll find somebody else to replace him with. There's still going to be a lot of options in free agency and heck, even the NFL draft. But moving on from that, Alec Pierce seems to be a name that has been thrown around. Now, there are reports that the Raiders could possibly contact the Colts for their young wide receiver, Alec Pierce. And the fact that the Raiders do have a big need in the wide receiver room right now, especially because we don't have a lot of depth there, and the only notable names that we have right now is Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. That's why you hear a lot of names floating around, you know, the Amari Coopers of the world, Stephon Diggs, even Tyler Lockett. And even in the NFL draft, Tetairoa McMillan has been one of the top options and one of my favorite options in this year's draft as well, because we need more depth at the position and we need a true wide receiver one or receiver that could pair up alongside Trey Tucker and Jacoby Myers. So it's only a matter of time that the Raiders address the wide receiver position. And as for Alec Pierce, it's an interesting name because he really wasn't on my radar. But if the Raiders were able to get a deal done, I feel like this would low-key be a really good trade option for the team. Pierce is still young at 24 years old. He has size and speed and could be a dynamic deep threat. And coming off of his best year yet in 2024, having 37 receptions, 824 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Now, people might ask why the Colts would even want to trade him away, but knowing that the Colts right now have a really deep wide receiver room and it's crowded over there, you got Josh Downs, Michael Pittman, and even just bringing on Adonai Mitchell, there could be a possibility where the Colts actually listen to offers. And if I'm the Raiders and knowing that we need wide receiver depth, I would be calling the Colts for Alec Pierce. And heck, I give up a early day 3 pick if we're able to get Alec Pierce, heck, 4th, 5th, 6th round, whatever you want, maybe 2 6th rounds if that's what you want for him. And at that price, I'd be all for it. Pierce would be a great addition to this wide receiver room alongside of Jacoby Myers and Trey Tucker. Plus, you go and add yet another veteran wide receiver in free agency, most likely Tyler Lockett, then our wide receiver room would already look better than we did last season after we traded away Devontae Adams. And we could still go into this year's draft and add more wide receiver depth to the roster. So Alec Pierce to the Raiders, would I want him on the team? Yes, I would definitely want him on the team. I would definitely go and call and try to see what we can get for Alec Pierce. And if the Colts are willing to trade him away, I feel like the Las Vegas Raiders would be a perfect home for Alec Pierce. But what do you guys think, Raider Nation? Would you guys want the Raiders to trade for Alec Pierce? Do you feel like he could be a solid addition to this wide receiver room? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, since we're on the topic of talking about trades, possible trades for the Raiders, one name that has popped up has been Kenneth Walker III. According to NFL rumors, the Raiders reportedly called to check in on the availability of Seahawks running back Kenneth Walker. Of course, this is coming from NFL rumors, and at the end of the day, it is rumors, but their page has gotten a lot of things right, so I thought I'd take that into account and kind of talk about this and at least give you guys my thoughts on this. Walker right now is coming off of his worst season yet in the NFL, dealing with multiple injuries. He only played in 11 games last season, rushing for 573 yards, having 7 touchdowns on 3.7 yards per carry, which is all career lows for Kenneth Walker. Now, he did do good in the receiving aspect of the game, having 46 receptions for 299 yards. Now, his play has declined every year since being drafted in 2022, and maybe a change of scenery can help him, especially with a better O-line. He can be better, hopefully. And the Raiders, I do feel like, have a much better O-line than the Seattle Seahawks. We just need to tweak up the line a little bit, and I feel like we'd be solid moving forward. I do believe that Walker has all the skill sets to be a dominant running back in the league today. We just haven't really seen it yet. There's been a lot of potential, especially after his rookie season, to say that he could be an RB1 for many, many years. But with all the injuries and seeing him slowly decline over the years, that is yet to be seen, and it kind of seems like he's going to be falling off. And I know right now the Raiders definitely need to find a running back. We need a running back one. That's why I feel like a lot of people, of course, are looking at the Ashton Jenseys of the world, are looking at the Cam Scatterballs, Amari and Hamptons in the draft. I know that the Raiders could possibly double dip in the draft and get 2 young running backs on rookie contracts. And even after signing Raheem Mostert, I do believe that the Raiders still need to adjust the position, which is why I feel like Kenneth Walker's name has been thrown into the mix, especially with his history with Geno Smith and Pete Carroll back in Seattle. Now, another interesting thing that I seen was an article from Mo Moton on Bleacher Report where he listed the 7 surprise trades that can still happen, and he had the Raiders trading for running back Kenneth Walker III for a 2025 6th round pick, saying Las Vegas has arguably the worst backfield. Raheem Mostert, who turns 33 in April, leads the unit. Sincere McCormick flashed in a handful of games last year, but he suffered a season-ending ankle injury and still an unproven commodity. Even though the Raiders could double up on a strong incoming class of rookie running backs, they can also consider a veteran upgrade over Mostert. Raiders head coach Pete Carroll can call his former team and inquire about Kenneth Walker III. Seattle may be willing to move on from the 24-year-old because of his declining production and recent injuries. He's seen a drop-off in his running numbers since his 2022 rookie season. So with that said, if I was the GM, would I want the Raiders to trade for Kenneth Walker III? Now, initially, I'm going to be honest with you guys, I didn't want to, because looking at his slow decline over the past couple of years and the fact that he's dealt with so much injuries, I was like, you know what, we'd be better off going into the NFL draft and drafting somebody else. But if we were able to trade a 6th round pick, especially knowing that we have 3 6th round picks in this year's draft, for a young running back like Kenneth Walker with a lot of upside still and a chip on his shoulder, I would say yes. It's a low risk, high reward type of signing if the Raiders were able to get a deal done. And you add them to this running back room right now, it wouldn't hurt, especially if we were to go into the NFL draft and still draft a young running back later on in the draft. Imagine having Kenneth Walker, Raheem Mostert, Sincere McCormick, and another young running back. I'd totally be down for it, but it does come down to the Seahawks and whether or not they even want to trade him away. But would you guys trade for Kenneth Walker? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is Quinn Ewers coming to meet with the Raiders. According to Albert Breer, he reported that the plan is for him to meet with the Jets and Las Vegas Raiders today and have a dinner with New Orleans Saints brass tonight, with all 3 teams expected to send big crews to Austin. He's already had a 30 visit set up with the Dallas Cowboys, Indianapolis Colts, and Raiders for early April. Now, of course, there is no secret that the Raiders need to add more QB depth, whether they want to go and draft somebody early on like Shedeur Sanders or get somebody like Jackson Dart or Will Howard. Those have been names that have been linked to the Raiders throughout this whole draft process. But of course, we're going to have to find that 3rd quarterback to play alongside of Geno Smith and AOC, which brings me to Quinn Ewers. This is the first time that I've heard him linked to the Raiders, and as a on and off Texas Longhorn fan, I would definitely be intrigued with seeing him come to Las Vegas. Now, Ewers is talented with a strong arm, quick release, and an impressive throwing motion, but he comes with inconsistencies, questionable decision making under pressure, and durability concerns. Ewers would be a developmental project to learn under Geno Smith for a couple of years, but the upside is high, and with all the traits to excel in the NFL, he could be a future starter. Ewers would definitely be a name that I would keep my eye on, especially in the 3rd round. I could see him still falling there, and if the Raiders still haven't drafted a quarterback at that point, I wouldn't be opposed to drafting them. But let me know your thoughts, Raider Nation, down in the comments below. Until the next video, this is your boy Simone Raider and your boys, yeah.